Hello, I'm Dawn from Dawn's Inspirations. I demonstrate for Crafters Companion, and as many of you know, when I go around and demonstrate the sparkle pens, I take my little technique book with me. And some of you that come along to my demonstrations have asked, could I do some little videos showing the techniques of all the different backgrounds? Because when they get the sparkle pens home, you forget all the different things that you can do with them. And they're a great product and you can do so much with them. Okay, so that is my little technique book. These are the sparkle pens. I've got the 3 sets in their cases. So I've got the spring summer, and you get your 2 clear overlays in there as well. You get your autumn winter, which are darker shades, and I've taken my clear overlays out and I've put my metallics. So I've got my silver, my gold and my black in there. And then you've got the vintage hues, which are the more muted vintage tones as well. Okay, so they're all your sparkle pens, but I've chosen just 3 to work with today. Okay, so these are the 3 that I've chosen to work with today, just to make life easy when I'm demonstrating. When you get your pens new, you need to prime them. So this is a brand new pen. I won't prime it properly because this is one of my clear overlays, and it's always good because they come in a pack of 3 normally. You can just keep some back until the other ones have run out. When you get your pens new, you take the lid off and you've got this lovely brush nib on there, which is just great to work with. They're a water-based product. Okay, if you unscrew the lids, you will see that this is actually sealed. Okay, this is where all your pigment is in here, and it's all sealed just like a tube of cream would be at the chemist. And then inside there you'll have your little spike or your pin that is going to pierce that. When you're priming these new, throw this collar away. You're going to get rid of that. Okay, you're going to screw your lid down until you hear it go click. When it goes click, it has then pierced the chamber. You then pop your lid back on and shake like mad. Give them a really good shake. Wake all that glitter and that mica and that sparkle up. Get it all going. Okay, and then take your lid off, and at the side it just says push, and this is where you're going to squeeze gently, and you'll see the colour fill that clear chamber and come out onto the nib of your pen. Your pens are then ready to go. So that's as easy as that is. So let's pop that to one side. Another little top tip about when using your sparkle pens is cardstock. I tend to use Crafters Companion watercolour card. This has got a nice texture to it. It's got like a bobbly watercolour texture to it. If you want a smooth finish, I would go for the Sheena stamping card. Because these are a water-based product, you're going to need either of those, because then they can take a lot of water when you're doing all these different backgrounds. So that's a heads up on the cardstock. Also inks. If you're wanting to just stamp an image and colour in, there's different types of inks you can try. Your first one is StazOn, because you also use an opposite ink to what you're using. So we're using a water-based product. Okay, so we're going to use a permanent ink. Your StazOn is the one that's going to dry the quickest. After that, your archival will dry sort of the second quickest, and your VersaFine will dry the slowest. So you can stamp with any of these ink pads with your watercolour pens. So your VersaFine will take a little bit longer to dry, so if you stamp with it, you could run it over with a heat gun just to dry it off. Your next one's your archival, and then your StazOn, the one that's going to dry quite quickly. So any of those ink pads will do. Okay, that's a little heads up on your ink pads. Also, with refer to brushes, I like to use the Royal and Lanica brushes. These again you can get from Crafters Companion. These are Sheena Douglas's brushes of choice, and I must admit in the past I have tried other brushes, but these are absolutely brilliant. I've got rid of the other brushes and I only use these brushes. I've had these a couple of years now, and yes, they're stained with my paints, but they keep going, they hold their form, and they're just lovely to work with. These are the 3 sizes I tend to use the most. So I've got my wide flat brush there, I've got a narrower flat brush, and then I've got a rounded end brush. And they're the 3 that I tend to use the most. But there again, it's personal choice. So let's get started and start with our techniques. So if you watch the next video, you'll see the first technique.